A very warm welcome to all our friends that have joined us on this bright morning today, October morning. And we have a very special guest for this edition. I am talking about none other than Mr. Manish Tiwari, the country manager of the India consumer business at Amazon. We've had very special guests in the past, and we've talked about a lot of things that affect MSMEs. But here is a company that has been talking about digitizing more than 10 million MSMEs in the process, creating millions of jobs in the process, enabling an entire ecosystem around retail. And with that, I am going to go directly to the segment that we normally have, which is our fireside chat. And we will move forward from there.
Manish Tiwari manages the consumer business for Amazon in India. He is passionate about changing the way India buys and sells and has been driving the online transformation in India over the last 7 years. He joined Amazon in 2016 post a long and fruitful stint with Unilever. Manish spent close to 20 years at Unilever in various sales, marketing and general management roles. He was part of the Unilever, India, board with specific responsibility for sales for South Asia. His last role was as the Managing Director for Unilever, Gulf, managing a cluster of 34 countries in North Africa and Middle East operating from Dubai. Manish holds a management degree from Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and a bachelor's degree in computer science.
Welcome, Manish. It's such a pleasure to have you today on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vinod, for having me on the show. I was very excited. I've been tracking the work your body has been doing. And I always believe as we head towards becoming a 5 trillion economy, a digitized 1 trillion economy, what will make the difference is the small and medium businesses of India. So very, very excited to be here.
Excellent. We found this the right opportunity because we were talking about, most of our MSME members, especially micro enterprises in far-flung areas, tier two, tier three cities, that have been quite worked up about the fact that you can leverage e-commerce to build businesses, build brands, which hitherto they have never been able to do. And so it was very important for us. And when your office gave us the time, we were very excited to have you. Normally, we do this session in the evenings because entrepreneurs, as you know, we work throughout the night. We work, odd times, and for most entrepreneurs. But let me tell you, one of the things that happened was that when we put this out, we have over 400 questions, and your
Oh,
office is given 45 minutes. So I have so many questions which we have received from members, but we cannot take every question anyway. So that's besides the point. But so we are trying to collate a group of questions that people have asked, and so we can help people understand the role Amazon has to play as far as supporting or enabling MSMEs is concerned. Now, we know that Amazon is as old as e-commerce in India. We started e-commerce with Amazon. So, in your knowledge, how do you think the sector has changed in the last 10 years?
oh yeah, a lot has changed. I think let me just go back. And as you rightly pointed out, Amazon started in India 10 years back. And there were other organizations already into e-commerce, but it was largely a metro phenomena. Yeah, there were a few consumers buying in the metro. I think before I talk about e-commerce, I think it's important to highlight why the rate of change has been so rapid in the e-commerce market. And I think it's important. I mean, we know that if we just take a step back, 10 years back, I mean, India used to be a $2 trillion economy. The growth rates were very different. We are now close to $4 trillion. Our growth rates are highest in the world among all medium and large size countries. Yeah. More importantly, and why am I stating this? Because it also brings alive in any business, there is consumption and there is the demand supply. The demand has been rising because of some of these monetary numbers. Second, very important, especially for e-commerce, is internet. I mean, in 2015, and we forget about those times, the internet penetration used to be 19%. Today, it's 60% plus. Yeah. I mean, we've now moved on to 5G. In 2015, if you remember, both the cost and the quality of the networks used to be very, very patchy. Yeah. Today, we have, by the last count, more than 1.2 billion people using phones in this country. I mean, it's like literally every
Absolutely.
person has a phone. Rapid transformation on the payment world. We don't realize it ourselves, but all of us walk out without carrying a wallet now. I mean,
Absolutely.
close to 60% of instant payments in the world are happening on the UPI network. Yeah. So when you put all of this together, the economy doing well, internet penetration, what UPI, the National Payment Team, has brought to the country, it started, it brought alive an entrepreneur culture, or it accelerated entrepreneurs who were always there. And that's what has led to the growth of e-commerce. Yeah. I mean, I remember when we started 10 years back, we had 100 sellers and we had a small warehouse in Bombay. Today, it feels good that we have 14 lakh plus sellers. I mean, if we have close to 45 million cubic feet of space, I mean, that's like thousands and thousands of football grounds. We have Prime Air, a dedicated cargo airplane service. So it has changed quite dramatically. And the great thing is, it is fueling what all of us want to do in India. One, we want our entrepreneurs and our small businesses to be more successful. I mean, I come from a city called Jamshedpur. Um, Earlier, if someone launched, let's take a CPG product, a soap or a shampoo, it would take you years to reach that state completely. Why? Because advertising was expensive, distribution was. Today, I feel very good to be associated with so many D2C brands, and a lot of them are unicorns, which
Very
didn't
correct.
worry about advertising, which didn't have to worry about distribution. Today, small businesses, I mean, my neighbor in Bangalore makes handicraft jewelry. She sells to every pin code. So I think the journey has been really, really terrific. I feel very good because all my life as a professional, I've always wanted to do something which helps the country.
Very
I've been
correct.
associated with Hindustan Lever and Amazon, and I think we've made great success with our smaller partners. And all of this has been done by the team. It's been made for India, like cash payment, the fact that I can come to your home and collect your inventory, you don't have to send it to the FC. All of it has been made in India, for India, and by people, or by my technology team which sits in India. So, very, very happy where we are. And the fact that sellers and customers trust us, and no better period than a Diwali sale period, which is going on right now, to sort of see the impact of it.
Completely agree with you there. In fact, when we have talked to entrepreneurs across the board, apart from the distribution bit that people have felt that they have circumvented that entire I'd say circle. The other very important thing is that getting entrepreneurs educated themselves on what is working, what is not working. So it's like a test bed for entrepreneurs. You try something out, doesn't work, you sort of go back, try something else. And that has been something that has been amazing for most of the entrepreneurs as a tool to actually build slowly and change and innovate and do all sorts of things, including the fact that when you get onto e-commerce, you need to have a trademark,
Yep.
which majority of the MSMEs in India never thought about. And we've had huge strides in terms of intellectual property, both in trademarks, design marks, word marks, and all of that. And that is something that's really, really amazing. Obviously, the government has done a lot in terms of aiding this entire movement from non-branded to create your own brand, no matter how small, doesn't matter. Create your brand, trademark your product, your brand name, and all that. Now, at the same time, we've seen a remarkable shift in terms of how consumers are behaving now, compared to maybe 8, 9 years back. What in your sense, are the trends that you feel that has changed, this consumer behavior from where it was earlier and now, how consumers behave?
Yeah, I think, and like I said, Vinod, there are two aspects to consumer behavior. One is the consumer aspiration and taste, and the second is their ability to find it. Um, I mean, a lot of us are from Bombay and Delhi, and I'm sure a lot of people who are watching it are from these two cities. And we had our Hirapanna market, Palika Bazaar, where you would go. So there were people who still wanted to buy a certain variant of a shampoo, but they would not get it. So there was a certain market you would go to search for it. Yeah.
Very good.
I I was born and brought up in Jamshedpur, so I wanted to give my engineering exams. There was a certain set of books which I wanted, and there was a large seller on the main road of that city where we would go and we would pay the money in advance because the bookseller was kind enough to order it from Calcutta, but he needed the money upfront. Yeah, and obviously you could not return it or something because of
Sure,
the.
sure.
So the demand was there always.
Very
What has
correct.
happened is because of the kind of growth we've seen over the last so many years, the scale of that demand, so the number of people searching for that particular item have expanded. And it is not just true for metros. Too often I hear people say the demand is in metros. No, the number of people who require it might be more in a metro, but there are people everywhere, including villages, who have that demand. Now, when you have the demand, the question comes to supply. Growing up, if I wanted to buy, even 10 years back, a two-door refrigerator in Jamshedpur, the logistics was very, very complex. So
Yeah,
there
yeah,
would
very
be
good.
a store, they would keep two colors, saying, if you really want that color, I'll get it for you. Today, a consumer sitting in Jamshedpur on Amazon has thousands of refrigerators he or she can choose from. And by the way, you don't have to pay in advance. You can take delivery at done. And if you don't like it, our sellers offer no questions asked return. So suddenly, these categories have become massive. I mean, if you spoke to any of the large brands, they would say the premiumization which they used to struggle with is real now. Second, a lot of customers, I'm just using an example, wanted sulfate-free shampoo. It has sulfates has some impact on the hairs, as research points out. But they didn't know where to buy it from. They would
Right.
go to these small markets. Today, some of the biggest unicorns, and I'm naming them because I feel very proud and humble that we were part of their journey, like Mama Earth, like Wow, the people who operate in shampoos, they launched sulfate free shampoos. And like you pointed out, Vinod, they didn't have to worry about a national network, how much would it cost. The e-commerce marketplaces have made the cost of experimentation very low.
Very
Yeah.
low. Very correct.
If I come back, so therefore the demand was building, and what e-commerce has done over the last 10 years is anyone, whether you are sitting in Ladakh or Lakshadweep or Andamans or Jamshedpur, as I come from, you have access to 12 crore plus products on just on A.in. Yeah, and 14 lakh sellers supplying that. We just did a research every before every Diwali season. We spend some time with customers. So we got Nielsen to talk to customers. And the interesting thing is 81% of them said, they do plan to shop online. Yeah. They like the selection, they like the pricing, they like the convenience that they can return things. And what was really good for us, and when I say us, it's always about our brand, seller, D2C partners, was all of them, more than 50% of them said across categories, uh, they look to Amazon as something which they can trust from starting the shopping journey till the end of it, and all of them enjoy the selection which is offered. I must share this data with you because it's a very interesting piece of data, yeah, and I just want to bring it alive. When we started sale, I think 4 days back, in the first 48 hours, Vinod, we got 9.5 crore customer visits.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
And that is so heartening, Vinod, because remember, behind that first 48 hours, our seller partners have been working for months together to get
Very,
inventory in shape, to update what customers see. So it is now reaching that point where we believe e-commerce is at the heart of creating that $1 trillion digital economy.
completely agree with you. I mean, in fact, that brings me to a related question. We've had a lot of people talking about, micro entrepreneurs from tier two, tier three cities. Um, do you think it'll be very opportune for them to compared to those in the metros for in terms of getting a jump or a flip in their business when you get onto e-commerce platforms like yours?
I'm going to take a parallel example because I do want to use this opportunity. And maybe I keep on saying it because I come from a smaller town. Our education system in this country ensures that every person in the country has an equal opportunity of joining the best schools in this country. I'm talking
Very
about the engineering school like IIT or IIM. Money can never be the barrier.
absolutely
Language is not the barrier. It does not matter whether you are from a Kendriya Vidyalaya or an international school. So, in some ways, education is very, very secular. Everyone can participate. I think e commerce does that. Earlier, and I am like 52 years old, so I've seen those times. I mean, I used to be in the CPG business. People would move to the metros to be successful. Today, I meet so many entrepreneurs who move from the metros back to their hometowns because, courtesy the infrastructure, whether it's the technology, internet, or courtesy e commerce marketplaces, you can do the business from anywhere.
very correct.
If you look at the trends, Vinod, and since we are sitting in middle of the earlier, I mean, if you took all our 14 lakh sellers, about 50% of them came from smaller cities, tier two and below. But what is really interesting is right now, all the new sellers who are coming, close to 65 to 70% of them are coming from smaller cities.
Smaller
So
cities.
these are entrepreneurs who are really good at what they do. So if they are making a product, they are really, really good. Yeah. Earlier,
Very
they
correct.
would have moved to a metro or a larger city to get access to that infrastructure.
Yes.
Today, Vinod, I have, and I'm hoping we have some participants from Surat. People are exporting to 100 countries plus,
Very correct.
sitting in their hometown without having anything. I mean, so do what they are best at rather than worry about, I have to move to a bigger city. So
Bigger
I'm
city.
urging everyone listening into it, and I'm using your platform to reach out to people and say where you come from, does not matter. It's
Does
just how
not
good
matter.
your idea is, and we will help you. I mean, I am committed, and all the 100,000 people who work in Amazon are committed to actually making them succeed. And it's on all fronts. The payment has become digital, marketplaces have become digital.
Absolutely.
So,
In fact, one of the things that comes to my mind is, there's a steep increase in demand during the festival season. That's why you have the festival sales and all that. What are the steps that you feel MSMEs can take to optimize their supply chain, maximize their profits, and also to ensure that, the entire supply chain and error is completely error free? Because finally,
so
that is what matters for a small seller.
yeah, I think now we are in the middle of the event. But yes, I would want to, and I'm going to be very selfish, I would want to share a little bit of a checklist on how we can do this business. And we do a lot of webinars, etc. But I'm not going to, I'm a salesman at heart, so I can't let go of this opportunity. I think it's super critical. Yeah. I'm going to break this up into two parts. Yeah. The first part is the basics of running a business online, which most people would be aware of, starting from the quality of the catalog. It's a very important thing because, unlike a lot of other locales or countries, the transition was from small business to organized trade and then to e-commerce. In some ways, India has just jumped from small to e-commerce. I mean, we have organized trade, but it's not very large for obvious reasons. So it's a little bit like our a lot of us didn't have landlines, and suddenly you are moved to mobiles. So, so I think the basics are super important. Yeah, and what can we do? We have thousands of programs on our Seller Central in
Yes.
all languages to help people on every part of their journey. Yeah, I think it's in 6 languages today, right from creating the catalog, how to use an ad product to get better sales, which fulfillment channel to use, which is best suited for me.
Yes. Sure.
So today we have something called SSR, Self Service Registration 2.0. Yeah, it can enable the seller just using their mobile phone and GST number to actually register on to Amazon. Now, within that, there is something called a sale event planner, which is specifically meant for our seller partners to use for such large events. What it helps them do is configure special offers which would work, how to optimize inventory during peak season because cost of working capital is still a significant amount. And what do we do from our side? So, for example, as we are running through this event, we are saying for all new sellers who come on to, we will waive off 50% of the fees. And why would we do that? Because we do believe the more people, sellers who come on online, the more their business would expand. So they would have a small offline business, but now the country, and at some point, 100 countries becomes their marketplace.
Become their market. Very correct.
So we actually are encouraging. I'm using your platform. All our seller partners, we're actually telling them that if you get us new sellers, we will give you a referral bonus because we want more and more MSMEs and small sellers to be joining. We've also started something which we just announced a couple of months back, Vinod. All our seller partners sell on various channels, online,
Yes.
offline. We now offer multi-channel fulfillment. Yeah. For as low as 59 rupees an order, I am putting our entire infrastructure at the disposal of all your members. Every
That's
pin code in this country covered, every aspect. I mean, we have tie-ups with Indian Railways, Post, we have our own network. Yeah. And it does not mean that you have to sell on Amazon. Even if you decide not to sell on Amazon, though I would love that, but even if you say, I don't want to sell on Amazon, I just want to do offline and some other marketplace, we will still ship it for you. Yeah. So I want people to understand that the events period, you will get fee subsidy, you will get support, and you will get some of these new features. Please make best use of it. And by the way, the festive season, actually, in terms of sales and offtake, as all your partners know, will continue until literally November 12th or so, till Dhanteras. So please
very
make use of it.
absolutely. In fact, uh, one of the questions that we felt important, it was important to ask you. We have the Great Indian Festival, which Amazon does. It's the company's largest annual sale. Now, you obviously pointed it out that you help MSMEs cover the entire pan India market, cut down geographical barriers. Now, what are the strategies that are employed by Amazon? So that you can ensure that most of the sellers that are there, could be as small as possible, micro sellers and all that, they are able to access this entire wider base. Is there any specific thing that Amazon does in particular?
Yeah,
This has
so
come from the audience, so
no,
so
no,
I want.
I would love to. So Vinod, I still remember the days when we started. We used to have something called a chai cart. So a lot of us would go to the wholesale markets. We would sit there. We would have chai with the sellers and try and tell them why they should go online. It's been quite a journey from 100 to 14 lakh. But even today, if you Google or if you go and search any, we have continuous streams of webinars and physical meetings. We also have digital kendras, for example, in markets like Surat, Kanpur, where you can just walk in without any cost, and they can actually onboard you as a seller within 6 minutes. It's that kind of yeah. So we have both a very active outreach program. We have close to, I think, 17,000 plus partners who will provide you at a minimal fees any service you require, from cataloging to accounting to how to put stocks. And these are independent partners who work with our ecosystem, and we offer them to all our joining partners. So the outreach is very, very active. Yeah. And like I said, uh, I am eager now to onboard the next 10 lakh sellers, because, in my opinion, and I might be biased because I work in this, there has never been a better time for our small businessmen and women to expand their footprint from the city or state to national and international.
Absolutely, completely agree. In fact, right on that, we've had somebody. We have a woman entrepreneur from Nagpur, and she has said, she immediately wrote, "Please make it free for women entrepreneurs." This is our women entrepreneur program. Instead of whatever small amounts of money that we are charging, she just put in a request. So I've just highlighted it here for you. She's from Nagpur, company called Chitrangan. So
So I'm seeing, I think Rajshri is the person who's here. We
yes.
have a very active program called Amazon Saheli.
Yes.
Yeah, it is focused only for women entrepreneurs, and it comes at very, very. So first, it comes with a lot of handholding to help them succeed, which is very important, and we don't charge for that, which is what you would typically call account management. Other sellers have to pay for that. And second, the fees is very, very subsidized. So Rajshri, plus one, and if you are not a seller on Amazon, I look forward to getting you on board, not only you and other entrepreneurs. Nagpur is a very active city for us from a seller point of view. So thank you for that question. And it's very, very important for us, Vinod.
Excellent. One of the other questions which I find very similar on the YouTube channel is, what in your mind are the best practices to attract more sales on Amazon? Because a lot of people that we have, members that are already on Amazon, are continuously pushing that, how can I get more sales, more sales? So everybody's hoping for some insider information from you on what can they do.
I'm going to share the insider information. Focus on the customer. Yeah. In Amazon also, as a marketplace, we always put the customer first. Yeah. There is a lot of positives about online, doing a business online. And one of the biggest levers to improve sales is customer review and feedback. Yeah, because that's the most, in today's digitally connected world, people look at peer-to-peer feedback on a
Absolutely.
product. Earlier, it would have been limited to a set of friends or a family or a neighborhood. But today, take any product, and Vinod, we've seen this. Sometimes, even when people have to shop offline, they come to Amazon, read the reviews, ratings, and then go offline to purchase. So, there is no shortcut to pleasing the customer. And I know all of you understand that far more than me. But let me get to some slightly more tactical things. Yeah. The first is, please, please, please focus a lot on your catalog. Yeah. Use the right titles. There are webinars and ready courses for you. It's very important when people are searching online. Yeah. Also decide, what are you best at. So for example, you think your product should be selling at a very good premium because of the quality of the product, and you don't want to put too much of effort on supply chain and shipping, then use one of the Amazon services. Yeah, so that you are focused on building what you are really good at. What you would say is your key sort of strength area. Second is use the Amazon tools. Yeah, there are tools available to every seller, all 14 lakh sellers, on how to do fulfillment, how to do ads, how to use sponsored products, how to automate your pricing so that you can reach out to a larger pool of customers. The second thing which a lot of our successful sellers have done is they start with one product category, build some confidence, and start diversifying into product categories. Yeah. So I always urge people that the more, as a seller, your ratings keep on getting better, the more contact you have with customers. And diversification is a very, very important thing. Always leverage sale units, events. I just say 9.5 crore customers came in the first 48 customer contacts, visits happened. Always use that to give a boost. And once a day, please go on to your seller central to see the notifications and the recommendations which are coming. It's a it's a we have tried our best to make it as seamless as possible, and we always look for feedback, including from today. My email ID contacts are there on the websites to get more suggestions. I mean, I remember, a few years back, someone came out and said, why don't you have your seller app in Hindi? And we said, absolutely. And today we have it in South Indian languages. I mean, so we keep on trying to make sure that we can help. We are also working on something called Amazon Sahai, which is going to be powered using large language models. Yeah, so literally the seller can show, say, the shirt he or she wants to put on the catalog. The AI engine running behind it would say these are the best attributes which you should, and if they think it's good, they can just accept it. So we're trying to leverage technology to make sure we can give a personal assistant to each of our 14 lakh sellers.
Excellent. One of the other things that most people have asked us is that, a lot of people now from the rural areas that have GI products, which are geographical interface products, that have already covered or they've already got user certificates, and especially rural enterprises. We at India SME Forum also feel that rural enterprises, being the larger part of MSMEs in India, almost 67% of enterprises in India, are a much bigger opportunity when it comes to connecting the dots between the rural economy and what is happening and stemming migration, stemming this overrush in metros and stuff. It's very important for all of us to work towards getting the rural entrepreneurs, especially women. We're talking about more than 6 crore members in self-help groups across the country, and they're all women who are creating something or the other, or producing something or the other. Now, how do you feel that we can uplift their economic status by through the platform here?
No, I think, you've touched on a very important point. We all say it. The backbone of our economy is and will continue to be, for all the right reason, the small businesses. And a large part of that small businesses actually reside in rural and the self-help groups you spoke about. We have multiple programs as we speak, and I would want to use this forum to share. For women entrepreneurs, I spoke about Amazon Saheli. We also have a program called Amazon Karigar. Yeah. Again, it's at discounted fees, free account management, where we are saying, and we have a lot of success. We have sellers from Orissa, the saris they make, they are now selling across the country. Earlier, they would have sold to someone who would have sold to someone. And the actual realization of the awesome artisan is actually maybe one third of what he or she should get. Now they can just ship it directly. I mean, we go and pick up the goods. Let me just touch upon a program which is right now we are working on two fronts. One is with the Uttar Pradesh government. There's a program called ODOP, one district, one product. They have some of the best products, whether it's in brass utensils, the bangles industry, which everyone is aware of. So each district has identified a product which they believe, and rightfully so, has a lot of demand, but they were not being able to use the right channels to get value for what they were making. We go to the districts and we actually train people, saying, take your self-help group in the village, you make these awesome bangles, everyone knows that it comes from Firozabad, use that to leverage and make it a brand. Yeah, we will do the hand holding and sell in India. And why India? A lot of the Oda products have very good demand even from markets like North America. Yeah, so it's very, very important. The second, what we do is we work with almost every handicraft corporation at the state level. Yeah. So if you literally, I mean, some of you must have logged in from Delhi. If you walked on Baba Khadak Singh Road, you have all the state emporiums next to each other. We work with every one of them. So they work at the back end um, for the products, for their own, for the large groups which are associated, and we help them market it. So whether it's a Khadi Gram Udyog or any of the state emporium. So Vinod, I am personally very, very passionate about it. I think the best way to grow into the 5 trillion economy is not by moving people from villages to towns. It is by them staying there and getting the right value for their product. And e-commerce marketplaces now make it possible for them to do it, along with the infrastructure the government's created, whether it's roads, electricity, internet.
Completely agree with you. In fact, one of the things that most people here are talking about, people are saying that earlier on it was a much easier process to get onto Amazon and onboard products and all that. It seems to be becoming a little more tedious and all that. How can you sort of make it easier for people to now onboard? I mean, is there some bypass or some mechanism by which people can bypass the long, tedious process? Which
Yeah,
I'm sure has more to do with compliance and regulatory requirements more than what Amazon is trying to push.
no, I think, I mean, let me try and some people would have first-hand experience, and I love that feedback. And some people, sometimes you think it's a little tedious. So I just want to first touch on the second part of it, and then I'll come to the first part of it. So, I mean, let me try and explain this to everyone. So I'm sitting in a room, and if I have access to my GST, my PAN card, and a bank account, because that's important. Yeah. Why is it important? It's just make sure that, um, sometimes 0.00001% of sellers could create a bad impact for all sellers. Yeah. And therefore, this piece of documentation is important so that we can meet customers don't get sort of, if they have a problem, they know how to get the refund, etc. If you have all these artifacts, it will probably take you a few minutes to go and become a seller. And then all you have to do is you list your products. Yeah. And you can have a multiple ways of, whether you want to pack it, repack it, you want us to deliver, you want to deliver, you want to put it in storage. Yeah. And the simple thing is, without any follow-up, as the product sell, you will get your payments in the bank account every 7 days. Yeah. Now it's not a complex process, but and we keep on enhancing the processes. Yeah. Whether it's I mean, for example, today, if some of your members are sitting in West Bengal, I mean, you can go and register in Bengali or Malayalam. We're trying to make it easier and easier. Yeah. And we invest as a marketplace billions of dollars to make sure this entire all India is now a single market for a seller sitting anywhere in the country. They don't have to worry about how to send goods to Ladakh. Yes, there are processes we have in place also to make sure customers have a good experience. Yeah, that's very, very important. You spoke about it in terms of trademark. I mean, these are important things to get your brand registered. These are important things because in future it is good for your business that you have a IP on your brand rather than just go and sell it. So a lot of these practices. So it's like if you trust a certain entity, a physical store or a marketplace, you will shop more there. We want to make sure, and I would say in a modest way, we are today, a lot of customers see Amazon.in as a trusted place, and that's really good for our sellers. So yes, sometimes there are checks and balances, but that's just to make sure the customer you are serving as a seller, his or her experience is protected. Yeah.
Very.
Otherwise, there is a seller escalation system on your seller central. Whenever there is an issue, I am the first one to say we are not perfect. Your feedback helps us make better,
Made
and
better.
our
Very good.
objectives are the same. Our objectives is to help you sell more and more.
overtly, I can tell you and I can share with you, we keep on doing a lot of internal surveys, especially before the festive season, because we've been trying to prepare most of our sellers, and all the people connected with us. We have almost 12 lakh subscribers, but more importantly, the people that we are more worried about is the micro enterprises, which are on the outer fringe of our subscriber base, almost 20 plus lakhs. Those are the people that we have been pushing on for onboarding on e-commerce platforms. And first, when it was launched, was specifically to help enable all of these enterprises that wanted to go online. And overtly, a lot of this membership has benefited from Amazon. Is there any specific message that you would want to leave for them? In terms of, hey, this is what Amazon is working on in the future. This is what we can look at doing together. And in terms of the long run, this is what we should expect maybe in the next 2 3 years or so.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect time to be an entrepreneur. All the vectors are getting aligned. The government is very keen that we sell more and more value added products. We create brands. The infrastructure in this country, any part of it, I mean, even when good roads are made, it helps us ship faster. The digital payment system, the internet, everything is coming together. I mean, I've been in the corporate world for 26 years. There has never ever been a better time than today to become an entrepreneur. Yeah, the demand is rock solid. The growth is very good in GDP. Yeah, I would, and like I said, I have seen brands being created, hundreds and thousands of brands being created on Amazon from all parts of the country. Yeah, it literally takes like a matter of days before you can start your business. And a lot of unicorns you can think of, a lot of them have come under a program called Amazon Launchpad, where we actually help people who have an idea of what they want to do as a D2C brand, just an idea, but we help them, handhold them to actually launch it and then sort of succeed. And obviously, afterward, they go offline and they're large businesses with billion-dollar valuations. Um, Anyone, if you have a good idea, we will offer you a safe, sandboxed way of testing it, experimenting it, and then scaling it up. The few things I would leave behind. Um, and it's my passion to actually help to use my 26, 27 years of working to share with your members a few things which I think are super critical. My first thing is always, always, always put the customer at the center of what you do. Yeah. If you have a good customer focus, the financial strategy, etc., would flow. Second, never compromise on quality. Reputations are made over decades,
Very
can be lost very quickly. Yeah. Third, this is the time and age of technology. Learn it. We are never too old to learn things. Yeah.
correct.
Learn it yourself, even if you can afford people who can do it for you. Learn how to use ad products, learn how to do cataloging. If you know it yourself, it will help you. And fourth, a lot of you would have watched the cricket match yesterday. I mean, um, India is now thinking big.
Big. Very
And if
correct.
you don't think big, you could constrain yourself. So I want every person who's logged in to think, why am I not selling in Sweden? And it is my job as someone who works for Amazon to give you access to 178 countries in the world without you having to do any complex paperwork. So please use this opportunity. Um, this is like the golden era for entrepreneurs to scale up. Anyone who has a good idea.
Excellent. I'm almost out of time, but I'm really very, very thankful to you for having taken this time out. We have a lot of retailers that we operate with, and a majority of them are now able to see the benefits of actually using online channels as a mode to increase their business, increase their markets, gain access to markets that they've normally traditionally never looked at. So I also personally feel that it's only a journey that we've just started, and going forward over the next 3, 4, 5 years, I feel there's going to be more than 2.5 crore enterprises which are going to be online, completely online on across platforms. Obviously, a lot of them then graduate to also having their own websites and having their own mechanisms and all that. But the flip that we are able to offer people, by introducing them to this entire juggernaut, I would say, which is continuing on rolling, and it's continuing on getting increase, helping people increase their business, is has been really, really amazing even for us. Thank you very much, Manishji, for taking the time off today to speak to all our members. We have a lot more questions. I am not going to take the time and unnecessarily, but we will try and get you back again after the festival to figure out what are the final numbers, what sort of numbers we have done, and how many people have benefited finally. With that, sorry, folks. I mean, I can't hold Manishji back anymore because he's already overshot his time. We are going to request his office to find time again for us. Hopefully, after the festival time is over, and we will then move on to in terms of the next steps after the festival, what all we need to do together with Manishji's team. Thank you very much, Manishji. It was such a pleasure, and look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thank you, Vinod, and the organization for giving me this chance. Nothing excites me more than getting people to succeed. And I look forward to some more such interactions. I'm always there. Anyone can reach out to me. And like I said, we are not perfect. We look to your feedback to get us better so that all of us can succeed with our customers. So thank you so much and have a great sales season, all of you, offline, online. The next
Absolutely.
30 days is very, very critical for all of us. I wish you all the very best for the season.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Manish.